Hey everyone, it's Barb. Welcome back to the Pink Radish Vegan Kitchen. We got a one-pot wonder today. We're making halushki. Halushki is a wonderful comfort food and I'm glad to introduce you to it. So let's get going. In our one pot, the first thing you're going to do is cook your noodles. Use flat noodles like egg noodles or any kind of flat type of noodle that works the best. And when they're done boiling in the pot, go ahead, drain them in the sink, give them a good rinse so they don't stick together, and then they can just hang out while you use the pot to get on with your rest of your ingredients and sautéing things. Flat noodles definitely work best in this recipe. Carrots. I love my carrots. Most halushki doesn't call for carrots, but I like to add them, one for the flavor, the texture, but also the color. It really beefs that up. There's your star of the show, the cabbage. Cabbage is so good for you, full of nutrients and fiber. It's really the main ingredient in this dish is definitely cabbage. Then we've got our onions. I just leave them pretty chunky when I chop them. Cabbage is just shredded. Our spices today, salt, pepper, and some fennel seed. If you don't like fennel, you can leave it out. And now let's get sautéing. We are going to put the onions and the carrots in the pan and start wilting them down and getting them soft, a little caramelization. And then while they're wilting down, I'd get my sausages ready. These are the field roast. These are the apple and sage sausages. They add a lot to this dish. And there it is, all coming together, the onions, and I've added the sausage. And I let all of that just very nicely brown in the pan. We want that caramelization in the bottom. And when we're done, you're just going to put that mixture on the plate. You're going to let that hang out while you work with the cabbage. This is a really delicious part of this halushki. By adding the sausage, you're adding extra protein. I know in some other recipes they also are adding bacon and they're adding different types of pork products, but we're vegan, so we just use the field roast sausages. But anyway, that hangs out, and then we start working on the cabbage. The cabbage needs to wilt down. It needs to get a little bit of caramelization on some of the edges. This is a process where you're just going to take your time. You're going to stir frequently. You don't want anything to burn. And you want to just kind of use the juices and the caramelization from the sausages. And here it is, further wilting down. This is a really, like I said, a little bit of the process. But remember, this dish is only going to take you, gosh, I don't know, maybe less than a half hour, not including maybe the chopping of things. And it really makes the house smell great. We just love halushki night at our house. I would say it probably is going to take you maybe 10 minutes or so to get the cabbage to a place where you're going to be able to start using the rest of the adding the rest of the ingredients back in. Remember, one pot, and it can't be simpler. When you want to start cooking at home, this is a dish to really get you going. And it doesn't have a lot of ingredients, and it is not difficult or hard to make, and it isn't very cost effective. Now, we do have a secret ingredient. You know how I love my secret ingredients. I add dry vermouth to deglaze the pan. When the cabbage is done doing its thing, I add this to scrape all those really yummy bits up off the bottom so that we can incorporate them. So here it is. You can see that I've deglazed. There's a little bit of caramelization that's on there. And the cabbage is now done, and we can start adding the rest of the ingredients back in. And so that would be your noodles and the plate with the carrots and the onions and the sausages. So there we grab the sausages and things. Oh, you got to hear Paris. Paris is always going to chime in here. My doc's in Paris. And then we've added that all back in, and now we are going to add in the noodles. Yeah, the noodles are ready to come back into the pan, and you mix everything together, and there it is. Your one pot dinner is now done. And as I said, it can't be simpler. The flavors in this are delicious. Now, you want to test your ingredients at this point and see if you need a little more salt. Do you want a little more pepper? I usually add those in at the beginning of each stage to wilt down with each particular vegetable. But now is the time to really test it and see. I also want to know that it's got a little bit of an acid there in the background that's going to brighten up all the flavors. If you need to add a little lemon juice, you can do that too. And here's kind of the beauty shot. I got the camera right down in the pan and dinner is ready. Now here, let me tell you, you can make this earlier in the day. You can put it in the refrigerator, let it hang out. You can come back and warm it up later. The recipe below is about 4 servings, so if it's just a couple of you, go for it. Thanks for watching. And here's one more look. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and I really, really hope you make this dish. It is going to become part of your regular recipes, guaranteed. It was delicious.